Hello, Internet. Gino, that Pinguino Grieco here again with another episode of Deep Listens, and I've been hornswoggled once again into playing a terrible game, which means that I am joined, as always, by Chris ZombiePie Redacted. We are here to discuss My Horse Prince. Fuck.
Or in the audiences that know by its original title, Uma Pre, or Uma Prince.
Yep. For all of those listeners out there who are very familiar with My Horse Prince. So, why don't you explain why we played this game?
We played Final Fantasy 13, which was a very bad thing. It's been a long time before I picked a game for you to play.
It was. The last time you picked a thing was Jade Empire.
Yeah, no, so this doesn't count, Gino. This doesn't count. What? This doesn't count. I gotta pick a main game for the podcast, bro.
You can do that, but I gave you that offer, and instead of doing that, you slapped my hand and you said, no, sir.
No, I deserve at least once a year to take one of your picks for the podcast.
Yeah, you should definitely get to pick a game, but
yeah. And I promise it'll be good. It'll be good.
Will it be good?
What were the games that I originally joked on one of your streams that I wanted you to play with me? It was Blood and Bacon, which no, it wasn't that. I think I already told you the game if I was left to pick. Oh, it was between Knights of the Old Republic, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And also, that's like a game I can speak with authority. And then Planescape Torment, which I've always wanted to lead you through a game that, to me, exemplifies both the best and also kind of the pitfalls of CRPG gaming.
Sure.
But
instead
one of these days,
you picked this.
One of these days, I picked this Otome game, which we'll talk a little bit more about what that means, called My Horse Prince, which is available on Android and iPhone.
For $0, thank goodness.
For $0, or you can shell out $1 to disable advertisements because this is a mobile game, and it's probably one of the best things we've played this year. Has probably one of the best relationship arcs this year in terms of the Deep Listen podcast. It's one of the best comedies that we've had this game. Better than Brutal Legends in terms of its comedic storytelling and writing. And just, one of the most fulfilling relationship arcs. I mean, it blows out of the water Persona 5.
I mean, when that
Final Fantasy 8.
When that princess fucks that horse, it's just like, whoa.
Hey, you hold your tongue, young man. There is no actual... This is a consensual, platonic relationship between a horse and their owner and jockey. And it is wholesome. Fine. It is totally wholesome.
Before we go into the wholesomeness of this game, just a reminder, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so at Deep Listens Pod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have comment sections, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. You can send emails. We don't have any people trying to defend Final Fantasy 13 in our emails yet. Thank goodness.
God damn it. We put out a call, guys.
We did.
We know that you people like this game. We know that you like Final Fantasy 13.
The silence is deafening.
Come on now. Come on.
Deafening.
I know Dick David likes Final Fantasy 13.
Maybe one day someone will send us an email.
Reki doesn't like Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, most of our listeners do not like Final Fantasy 13 because we had listeners with discerning tastes.
Mento actually likes Final Fantasy 13, but I'm pretty sure if he wrote something, it would be 90% puns.
That's true. He has a style. Did you have an email? You said you had a thing.
Yeah, I have an email. So I don't know when your next Magic the Gathering thing is, but this is hopefully something that you share with your co-host Kyle?
Yep.
I got it right on the first try. I was rehearsing before this podcast. So I actually want to read you a story. This was inspired by a recent... You saw the recent Magic the Gathering GIF video on Twitter that's been going around about someone playing a Black Lotus and everyone in Japan flipping the F out. Have you seen that?
Yes, I did see that.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that person opened a $10,000 bill.
I want to share a story. This is a story that I hope that you read to Kyle, and somehow Kyle reacts. And I want to hear your reactions during this podcast, because I think you'll have a reaction to this, okay?
This is highly irregular, but I'll allow it.
Yes, it's irregular, but we're talking about a game where you get into a relationship with a horse.
But this has to be a singing telegram.
You know me. I have...
As a judge, I have to say this has to be a singing telegram.
Oh, fuck.
If you're delivering the telegram personally.
I wanted to share this story for the only listenable MTG podcast. I recently played the MTG board game with my uncle. Gino, I can't keep this up.
Stan.
Okay. And if you must know, it's 10 times better than anything accomplished by this fucking card game. But that's a topic for another time. Just wanted to put it out there. My uncle from 1993 to 1996 played Magic competitively. And as he described was, quote, in deep.
That's a good time to be in deep.
He tells me, and had a few photos to prove it, 2 complete sets of Alpha, 1 complete set of Beta, a complete set of Arabian Nights, Antiquities, and Legends.
Fuck.
He just loved... Okay, so that's the first reaction I was looking for. So in your mind, process the amount of money.
This is going to go to a bad way, I'm sure of it.
This is going to go to a bad way.
But that's a lot of money.
Well, back in 93 to 96, it wasn't that much.
But still, even then, it was a lot. But now it is much more, because there's a restricted list and there's a bunch of cards from Alpha and Beta and Unlimited that they will not reprint. They have agreed to not reprint in paper to artificially inflate the price.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, go.
One of the reasons... So I didn't include this. He was super into collecting baseball cards, and he was like, oh, wow, here's this new card game where the art's pretty cool. He just loved the black borders on the cards and thought the artwork was incredibly beautiful. In fact, one of the reasons he walked away from Magic the Gathering was when they introduced the white borders. His exact words when telling me this story are, that shit looked like garbage.
He's not wrong. White borders aren't great.
The second reason he walked away from Magic was when the game introduced half hit points and tokens. As he put it, I don't want to worry about any of this kind of shit. I just want to play card games for Ante. If you wanted to know, he was a diehard Ante player.
Oh, no.
That's not what... Yeah. That's not where... I know what you're thinking. This is not where the story goes.
I didn't assume that he played Ante until it was all gone. I assume it was a flood.
Okay. But the final nail in the coffin happened when he played a few tournaments during Magic's infancy. He, like many players back in the day, made a fucked up deck that could basically win the game in one turn. I'm not joking, as he claims one of his decks was just Channel Fireballs and Black Lotuses.
Yep, that was a thing you could do at one point.
He won an entire tournament that way, and apparently wasn't the only one. So, when Magic created its first rules, limiting how many of the same card you could play, he viewed it as an affront to everything that he loved about Magic. As he says, Magic was great during its first 3 years because you could just put whatever you wanted in a deck and play it for Ante. And yes, he wants Magic to bring back Ante to tournament play.
Your uncle doesn't know how to play the game. He had a broken deck that was completely unrestricted by any rules or balance, and then beat people who did not have that and took their things in unfair, completely unbalanced games.
But after Magic started cracking down on his tomfoolery and overpowered cards, he decided to walk away from the game. So, as he said it, he went up to a random bozo at a card store and said, I'm fucking done with this game. They don't know what fun is, and sold all of his cards at 1996 prices. That includes all of his Moxes and a complete set of Power of 9.
Ugh.
The only thing he still has related to Magic are some of the original posters, which he claims might be worth money, and a shoebox worth of gold border cards.
Ugh.
But otherwise, he says he has no interest of ever returning to the game or even being a part of the Magic community.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't know how to play the game. He was playing a version... Playing with all Black Lotuses and Channel Fireball is not playing the game. Winning on turn 1 with your opponent not being able to interact with you at any point is not the game.
So what part of this story, now that I've shared it with you, really disgusts you other than he played a fucked up deck and won a turn?
That he played for Ante.
That he played for Ante and he stole young people's cards?
Yeah, basically, he was running a scam is what he was doing. And then they shut down the government, the man came and said, actually, all of it, you're just robbing people in the context, yes, this is technically a game, but you're just robbing people.
But when you stop and think about it, how much money do you think he has lost between 1996 and now?
Ooh, I mean, the amount of value that he does not receive is tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And that's, to be fair, he deserves that for walking away from the game.
He deserves that for what he did to the game?
Yes, he 100% deserves that. Especially considering he probably got a lot of cards ill-gotten by just beating up on people. I can't emphasize this enough. When those sets were printed, there is no answer to Black Lotus Channel Fireball on turn 1. I'm not saying oh, you really need to, configure your deck in certain ways. No, there's literally nothing you can do. They did not print cards that could stop stuff like that until several sets later. So he basically was running around robbing people. So I have no sympathy.
And playing for Ante.
Yeah, and that's why it's robbing people. If you want to beat people with your ha-ha-ha, I beat you with my deck that just kills you immediately and there's nothing you can do. That's fun. That's fun every once in a while. But when you're playing for Ante, that's where it gets me upset. Because there's literally, at that point, there was nothing to be done. You could not beat that. The only thing you could do is have the same deck and go first. So
I'm going to send this to the Magic the Gathering podcast. Gut reaction. How do you think your friend Kyle will react to this email?
Similarly. He will probably be less crass in his judgment of your uncle. He will probably be less harsh about it. But
Yep.
When you're playing a deck that is completely uninteractive and your opponents just have to watch you kill them, there's a term I always use when I'm watching something like that, like in a Commander game or something like that. No, I just say, I don't want to watch you masturbate.
Oh.
And then I concede. Because the game is over. We just have to wait for you to finish. And it can go for as long as you want. I have no say anymore. But I don't want to see it happen. I don't need to see the end result. I just be done. And that is basically what your uncle did for an entire tournament. So
yep. So I just wanted to share, these are the people that I'm related to.
Good to know. So if you want to get in touch with the show...
All of those Moxes and Power of Nines. Do you think those posters might be worth something?
Yeah, probably something, but not much.
How about gold border cards?
They're worth not very much because they're not tournament legal.
But those Moxes and Power of Nines...
Yeah, if he still had his Moxes and Power 9, he would be slightly wealthier than he is now.
But he doesn't deserve it.
Nope. But unfortunately, karma happened, so that's good. So if you want to get in touch with the show, please do so. And without further ado, let's discuss My Horse Prince. ZP, what is My Horse Prince?
My Horse Prince is an Otome game, which for those that don't know is a visual novel format in which you play a player character and date either one person that is provided in the game or multiple people. If it's multiple people, it's oftentimes referred to the omnibus format, where you're only able to pursue one relationship at a time because Japan does not approve of polygamy. Sometimes there will be a harem ending, which is a separate thing, usually sometimes unlocked after getting a certain number of relationships. For those that are following the ZP Made Me Do It podcast series, the last Otome game we played was Hatoful Boyfriend.
Yeah. And this follows in the footsteps of Hatoful Boyfriend in that it is a female character who has to fuck animals.
Again,
or is horny for animals.
How dare you? How dare you? I will not allow you to bring your pornographic talk onto our podcast about the very wholesome My Horse Prince.
So your main character...
Oji-san was always in that scene, making sure that we were training our horse, preparing him for the next race.
Making sure that there was an audience. So, what was your main character's name?
Pootie Tang.
Mine was Sex. It made for a lot of great sentences when the horseman was talking to the main character. And it's important to mention...
Sex.
Yeah. Sex, I need you. Never leave me, sex. All sorts of great sentences. But the conceit of this game is that your main character is a business lady who goes to a horse farm and she sees a horse with the face of a handsome man.
A very handsome.
I guess she was born in the year of the horse, and so certain horses look like men to her. They're mostly horses. They just have like an anime boy face.
And as we find out in one of the episodes, I believe it is episode 12, if you were born in year of the sheep, you could see sheep men people. Or if you were year of the snake, all the snakes would have handsome man faces.
Yes. So whatever types of animals get you horny, they've got...
Again, how dare you?
Games.
How dare you? How dare you?
So when you first arrive at the stables, she's just there to like look at horses and see horse stuff because she's from the city. And then she sees handsome
She wants
horse.
a relaxing break from the rigmarole of corporate Japan, which can't we all relate?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
And she meets Oji-san, which means uncle in this context, who is a old man. Actually, it could be uncle or grandpa.
Can we talk about how Oji-sans are, like what Oji-san looks like?
Yeah, so
please?
The main character, Sex or Pootie Tang, it really depends on which canonical
She's
version
a realistic anime lady.
She's an anime lady with normal anime lady proportions, so she has a gigantic head and,
very
ridiculous,
small body.
Yeah, very small body, but that's normal in anime land. And the horse, Yuma he's got a regular anime man face on a horse body, and that's kind of weird and gross, but otherwise he looks like a regular anime man, at least from the neck up. Oji-san looks like he was scribbled.
And as we find out, Oji-san's mom and dad, they were very active in raising a family because we meet like 18 different relatives of his. So anything that's not anime lady that you get to name, or Yuma the horse, or any horse animal thing, is it looks like they were drawn using MS Paint.
I think that they drew Oji-san once, and then a couple of characters are just palette swaps of Oji-san, and then some of them they drew like slightly different accessories. So this game was very cheaply made, and you can feel it all the time.
I think what you want to say is they used all parts of the buffalo.
Yeah, this game is what happens when capitalism is unfettered.
And God bless it. This is Gino. Part of the reason why I wanted you to play this game is this game is proof that capitalism is a great system because only in the free market of ideas would someone make a game where you date a Bishonen-looking anime horse boy, and that's allowed to happen. Your communistical society would not allow My Horse Prince to exist.
Yeah, this is an example that if capitalism is a Darwinian style of economy where, there are the strong survive, the weak die, and there are niches and all that stuff. This is the dung beetle of this economy. This is poorly made.
No.
It's garbage.
No.
It is.
How dare you? How dare you?
Designed to crassly make money by skimming the bottom.
No, it is not. This is a story that. Here's what I think. I think that someone wanted to make a funny game that's endearing, that shares this very beautiful relationship between this woman and this horse, and they're like, I want to continue my dream of sharing these wonderful stories. How do I make this possible? I'm going to share it with as many people. Everyone has a phone.
Okay.
Everyone has a phone. So I'm going to put it on phones. And I need to be able to put the money in the bank so as that I can continue to share stories like this. So I have to have it be an idle clicker funded using advertisements with the options to opt out of advertisements.
I think I picked the wrong thing. Dung beetle implies that it's like a normal creature. It just happens to eat shit. I feel I needed to pick a virus or a bacteria.
No.
Because this is designed to be viral and to infect other people and to just kind of generally take over your life. It tries to do that. So I guess it's more of a gonorrhea.
So the first story is that, the first episode is basically we meet Oji-san.
Yeah, what's the gameplay?
The gameplay is that your horse has various tasks they need to perform.
Yeah.
And these are very important tasks. Just got to point that out there.
So you do you have to perform these tasks, right?
Yeah. And so you perform these tasks. Your beautiful horse prince is on the center of your screen of your phone. You gotta provide for that horse. And for example, in Chapter 1, Episode 1, your horse prince needs to eat, and so you got to click and tell him where to find the carrots.
Yeah, you need to click on the carrots. What about the second episode?
The second episode, he's got to train because he's once you take responsibility. So what happens is that our wonderful
No. We'll get to the story.
Okay.
What do you? What's the gameplay? Does it switch up in Chapter 2? New chapter, new story. Come on. What's the gameplay?
You got to find the treadmills and tap on the screen.
Oh, you need to click on the treadmills. Oh, in the third story, you're definitely not clicking on things.
No. I mean, your horse prince is visiting you at home. He comes to home with you, and then he makes you breakfast.
Okay.
And you have to click on the green onions because apparently horses like green onions.
Okay, so you click on green onion. I'm detecting
Tap
a
on
lot
the screen
of tapping on the screen.
Green onions, chop, 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 and then yum, yum, yum.
So what happens when you tap on things? Does a bar fill?
Yes, it does. A bar fills on the top of the screen, and then
good.
once you fill up the bar, you're able to move on to the next chapter. So for Episode 4, you find out that he has a part-time job helping out Oji-san's, I think, cousin or brother, and you have to fix cracks in the ground by clicking them or tapping on the.
Just a quick. So certainly, if the gameplay is that simple, you're just tapping on the screen. You only tap a few times and then the next chapter happens, right? There's no timer or artificial thing to.
I mean, you have to build this beautiful. I mean, the game has a lot of dialogue and interactivity with your horse prince. I mean, there's that optional dialogue on the bottom of the screen where Oji-san or whatever version of Oji-san is in the environment is interacting with the lady, and the lady will commentate about what Yuma is doing. And so there's this interplay that Yuma is so into the tasks that you're doing that sometimes he just gets tunnel vision and he doesn't hear people telling him, no, you might hurt yourself.
And sometimes when he does it too long, he gets tired and his energy meter goes low, and then the amount of points you get for clicking goes down. And so you have to replenish his points by talking to him. And then you get a 3-dialogue choice for what you say to him. And then if you pick the right thing, he gets more energy. If you pick an okay thing, he gets a little bit of energy. And then if you pick the wrong thing, he loses energy. But wait, you're thinking, loses energy? Well, that doesn't matter. I can talk to him more. No. You can talk to him 3 times every half hour. 3 times every hour. And then if you pick the wrong thing, he'll lose 15% energy out of a possible 100. However, they're very generous. You can watch an ad to get another shot at the dialogue choice. And once you've used
it expedites the process.
Yeah, once you've talked to him 3 times, they're so gracious, they let you watch another ad to talk to him another time. Mm-hmm. And if you want to speed it up even more, you can pay for a golden horseshoe that doubles all the points you get. You can buy a golden carrot that gives him 100% energy and infinite item spawns for a few seconds. Or you can buy another item that makes all the ads go away. Mm-hmm. For $1. So it's $1.
It's only $1, which, as someone who has played a good number of idle clicker games, and first off, because I can feel Gino does not like this game.
No. No, because
let me talk right here. Let me say a few things. First off, yes, this is an idle clicker, sometimes referred to as an incremental game.
Who refers to it that way?
Kotaku.
Okay, fine.
Calls it an incremental game. I think IGN also uses that term.
Yeah.
Incremental games, yes, do have these kind of grinding implements kind of imbued into their system, but I will give 2 things to credit in terms of the gameplay for My Horse Prince. 1, you are totally capable of finishing this game without putting in a dime into the game. 2, disabling ads is an option, and it's actually very cheap in comparison to other games.
Did you disable the ads?
Yes, I did, because I wanted to give this person money because I want them to continue making games.
How did that impact the chance to get an extra shot at dialogue or getting an extra talk?
Okay, so 2 things. Those things are always there if you want to opt into not having the penalty. You don't need to watch them. All the advertisements, for example, I told you, hey, did you ever notice that when you do your final talk, you can do the first 2 without watching an ad, but then when you finish your third, it automatically pops up an ad? That never happens. Okay?
Yeah, it just plays you random ads in addition to.
So those go away. But if you do accidentally pick the poor choice or bad option in the dialogues, he does pop up and say, do you want to reverse that by watching an ad? And so all of the advertisements are now optional. There's no bar on the bottom of your screen where it's join Boost Mobile for 50% off on the bottom as well.
Okay. So you still get the opt-in ads.
You get the opt-in ads.
You do not have the random ads that are jumping out at you.
Oh, what was your favorite ad that you saw? Because they know their audience. Some of the stuff that popped up.
There was one ad for a game. I'm not going to name any of these games because I don't want to advertise their terrible games. I saw one that was some sort of Chinese princesses.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Chaos. Oh, wait, I'm not going to say it. I'm sorry.
It was some sort of Chinese courtesans. You become a courtesan?
You play, yes, you're members of a concubine with the royal family. I've thought about playing this game because it's so dumb.
It looked poorly translated even in the ad.
Correct. Some of the images for that game are on Twitter, and it's hilarious.
I saw a Final Fantasy 15 mobile game of some kind.
Yeah, they have a Final Fantasy 15 kind of what's the one with the pigs and the bombs and everyone's going crazy about it for mobile? You blow up your
Angry Birds.
No, not Angry Birds. It's the one with Clash of Clans. So Final Fantasy 15 has a Clash of Clans version of Clash of Clans.
Great. Yeah, so and I saw one game that seemed to be a detective was arresting some sort of man who was starting to tamper with evidence, but at first it looked like he was going to arrest him, but then they did some friendly hugging. And there was some tension.
Another thing that I have to give this game credit for is you can finish the game without putting any money into it. And if you look at games like Candy Crush, it is impossible to finish the game without sinking money into stuff. It's sinking your money into the economy.
This game, you can beat it in a week if you're trying to actively beat it.
It's not true at all. I was able to beat it in 4 days.
No, I'm saying if you're not we were trying to beat the game for a podcast. If you were just playing the game absent-mindedly occasionally checking in. You could probably beat it in a week without trying that hard, if you're efficient. Though I don't enjoy that the game sends me a notification that says, you have full talks again, want to talk, with a picture of the horse boy.
Hey, buddy, that's what you signed up for when you bought an Android phone, is that those games get to have all of your data.
I denied it access to my pictures.
That
I
you
didn't
did the
want
right
to know
thing.
what it would do with those.
You did the right thing.
So do you want to go into, can I talk about the design and then we can talk about the story?
Sure. Because I think I have more experience with this genre than you.
You do. So the design is exploitative at every turn.
Nope.
Almost everything that could be designed to serve you ads is designed to serve you ads, not including the ads that... I mean, there's not a lot of mechanics in this game. You can make choices, and if you make the wrong choice, it serves you an ad. Or gives you the opportunity to serve
but Gino, I think you have to look at this from my perspective. I came into this game wanting to see bizarre anime visuals, and that's what everything is in service of. Again, I think this person wrote a story. I think this person created art assets, and this is how you make a mobile game. Because when you look at this and compare it to other mobile games, this game doesn't work. I mean, it gives you the entire story. It gives you basically everything that you want within a week. And every other mobile game doesn't allow for that. So again,
I would say this game is designed as one in a long line of exploitative mobile games. Just because it is not as exploitative as this already very exploitative genre does not mean that there is not a cynicism to the design that just seeks to wrench money. Now, every game, to some degree, needs to have a way to pay for itself. I don't begrudge people finding a way to pay for, their development and their designs. I just find personally that if I'm going to play a game, I would like the experience to be such that it is enjoyable if I pay a fee, If there was a version of this game where it's not just like buying items to make the story happen faster, if I could have unlocked a version where it just played the story or like the clicker element was made super trivial and opt-in, I actually would have liked it more. But there is no way to play this game without it kind of needlessly stretching the duration of the game out by serving you ads. And I feel that's unfortunate because this game's story is a lot better experienced when you're getting it one after another rather than dragged out over like a week.
I would agree with that, but then at some point you have to realize that this is the industry expectation of a mobile game.
Sure, but if they had a $5 option that was like story mode...
Oh, man, I would have bought that in a heartbeat.
Exactly. Like, that's not... I'm not saying you have to do away with your exploitative bullshit. Just like, I would have liked a $5, hey, here's your story. Because then, that's way more than they would expect anyone to pay up front. I don't think that the gameplay warrants it, but, I'd go around it to see some of the ridiculousness. But it doesn't exist. You have to slog through ads, and you have to slog through this barely there gameplay. And that's a shame. So let's talk about this story. You meet the horse boy.
Yep.
And he's going to be put out to pasture, basically.
Yes. So his original owner was not entirely supportive of his future of being a racehorse. And so let me actually open up the game. I will have it muted so you don't have to listen to the wonderful music. Just really good music in this game as well.
I mean, a lot of it is either public domain music or...
I really like it when games loop in to like 4 to 5 second loops. Okay, got it. So chapter 1, you meet this poor horse who really his dream is to become a racing horse. And so Pootie Tang, or Sex, as you named her, visits a ranch in search of we should also point out that your character...
We should
wants
point
a
out
man.
that those are the two canonical names.
Yes.
We should emphasize this
your
again.
character wants a man. Like, she
Yes.
really wants to get into a relationship. Very heteronormative because she's looking for a man, but hey.
Yes, she is very explicit about this early on. She's looking for a hunka burnin' love.
Yep. As
And
is usually
horse,
the case in an Otome game. It's the
horse,
pursuit of a relationship.
Yep. And then she sees the horse and is flustered by his good looks.
And finds out that it's a very... first off, if you want a good laugh, like the easiest way to figure out should you play this game, go onto Google, type My Horse Prince, and if the images on Google make you laugh, you should probably check it out.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Which is exactly the response I had. I started laughing at these images, and it's like, I have to play this now. Because, for all intents and purposes, My Horse Prince, it does not let up. Like, the pictures and the visuals are hilarious. The animations are amazing.
I would say the problem is you watch each animation a couple hundred times.
I would say, like, the one where you're skiing and surfboarding, I could watch those on tap forever.
Well, good for you.
So for Chapter 1, you eventually get rope-a-doped into being the sponsor for this horse. You don't really know what that means, but you're just supporting this horse and his dreams. Chapter 2, you find out what...
Did you see how you finance the horse? You make horse water.
Oh, yeah,
water
you make
with the
horse
essence
water.
of horse.
No, it's not horse water. She goes to the ranch where she's trying to come up with an idea that can make her company money, and she's like, I'm going to bottle the essence of ranches and the outdoors and make water.
Yep.
And she starts selling it, and she starts making bajillions of dollars.
Yeah, she makes a bunch of money, and that allows her to support her horse love, Yuma. So,
Chapter 2, it's called Treadmill Training. And this is really when I felt like this game was made with heart. This game was made with a lot of heart.
This is when I realized that you got more points if his energy was near 100%.
Yeah, so that's the other pro tip. Never let your energy drop below 70%, because then that means that if you get a full answer, that means the plus 30%, you can automatically go to 100%, get the extra points. And so if you did what Gino did, which is drop your energy all the way to 0, because you keep clickety click, I would say estimate only around maybe a 10th to maybe 20% at most of your clicks would be 100 points. But if you stay at 70%, your points will never drop below 75%, and you'll get the maximal use of every full answer that you provide the horse. So you get 30%, at least half of that 30% is going to be used to get 100-point answers.
Yep.
Or 100-point clicks.
And it's worth mentioning the conversations you're having. He will often ask you a fairly innocuous question, and I found a pattern in the answers. You answer in the most supportive and demure way possible. The most stereotypically feminine way you possibly could. If he pays you a compliment, you say thank you. You don't try to make a joke.
No. You don't compliment him. He is hard to get. He likes to play hard to get.
No. You don't compliment him. If he compliments you, you say thank you. You don't make a joke. You don't reference what he thought. You just say thank you. If there's a thing that might be scary, you act scared. If he's trying to be cute, you just swoon. There will always be a choice that seems like a joke, or maybe you're going to show some personality of your own or some independence. Don't pick that choice. That's the wrong choice. You will make your horse boy sad.
The face that he makes when he's sad is the best.
He's really sad. It looks like a giraffe neck, but it bends, and I don't like it.
He has a long neck for a horse. Let's just say that.
Yeah, so just remember you're role-playing as Sex or Pootie Tang, and Sex or Pootie Tang, just the ladiest lady in the most gender-normative way possible.
So the first kind of major story is Pootie Tang or Sex doesn't know if this is the horse for her, and she starts to have this doubt about whether or not she wants to be, sponsoring this horse and making him ready to to like
race.
And so you go to the branch and you're totally confident that you're going to call it off, like it's going to end. And then you go over there and you find out that you see Yuma training, and he's going to town on these treadmills. And Oji-san somehow almost goes bankrupt. Like the joke is that he's going to go bankrupt, but he has these treadmills that you tap on to watch Yuma use the treadmills.
They are single-use treadmills. When he uses the treadmill, it explodes.
Well, he's a horse. What do you expect? Of course his hooves are going to break the treadmill.
These are single-use treadmills that appear out of the sky. It's great. And
so eventually you train him, and then you go to Chapter 3, where for some reason Yuma's at your house making you breakfast, but because he's a horse, he decides to feed you just green onions.
And he just chops green onions.
That's probably one of my favorite animations outside of one of the next episodes we'll watch. We should also mention that her dog looks like Oji-san.
Yeah, there is a Oji-san lookalike in every chapter.
Every episode. And again, Oji-san is this kind of like, he's like Danny DeVito, but if you tried to draw Danny DeVito using MS Paint.
Yeah. If you gave a child some crayons and said, draw Danny DeVito.
And so he's just really excited. He's going to make us... And he's a horse, and he can do a lot, Gino. He's a really talented horse.
He can use knives. He can cook.
He can surf.
He can surf. Yeah, the next training...
No. The next training is we find out his part-time job. He's working with Oji-san's younger brother in the streets. He's got a union-paying job.
Yep.
Gino. Fixing the streets.
Leaks in the streets.
Yeah.
He fixes leaky streets.
So, like, leaks start popping out of the ground, and you click him, and he's the one that goes with the pickaxe and basically makes the leaks disappear.
Yep. And then he surfs.
No. We also have to talk about how, like, it gets really hot in summer, and they're all like, oh, let's use the pool. And then Oji-san's like, I've got my side business, which is renting this pool to old people.
Yeah, there's a lot of one-off jokes like that. And so you have to go surfing, and you surf.
Again, and the story is hilarious. It's really good. It's probably one of the best comedies that we've experienced on the Deep Listens podcast, other than maybe Hatoful Boyfriend. It is the best comedy this year, at least.
No. But we'll see. We'll decide later on.
It's funnier than Brutal Legends, because I actually laughed at this game.
Okay, let's keep going, and we'll get back to we'll circle back.
So you end up going to the beach, and you find out that this horse can surf. He might, if he doesn't make it in terms of racing, you might want to put him. I'm just going to put this out, Oji-san and anime lady. You might want to have him compete on the X Games, because he could surf like a pro.
Yeah, and then the next one, he races in his first race.
Mm-hmm. And you actually meet Oji-san's older brother, who is a jockey.
Who's a jockey.
And he speaks French.
Yep. And Yuma races. We should also mention
some of the animations, so like surfing, beating on the ground. This is probably one of my least favorite animations. You're racing, and you click like these little warning symbols, and when you click them, you watch Yuma just kick the crap out of the competition.
He just kicks him in the face.
Kicks him in the face and knocks them down.
A lot.
He does it a lot. It's a long race. It's like the Le Mans of horse racing. And then probably the best, like the overall funniest episode, because this is when I realized that whoever wrote the story for this game thought this stuff through, and they were just on their A game. You go to a concert, and you find out that Yuma, the horse, is the lead singer and guitarist of a boy band. J-pop band.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then it starts with, he's got fans. It's like, oh my God, look at Yuma. So apparently, like, she's not the only year of the horse that can see his beautiful face. Like, it's not exactly, like, clear how many people can see horses with faces on them, but there's
non-zero.
It's not zero, because you're one, and then, like, he has these fans that talk about his looks.
And he calls them the co-owners.
You're my co-owners. But then again, at the end of his concert, he announces that he's retiring from music, and he says, I found my love.
Sex.
Or Pootie Tang. And he sings a ballad dedicated to your character at the end.
That makes no sense.
It's all about horse things like loving carrots and racing and finding your jockey.
Yep, those are the things that he talks about the whole time. After that, you get mugged on the way out of the concert.
Yeah, Ojisan gets his ass kicked. Apparently, Ojisan was trying to leave early, and then he got robbed. But apparently, the gangster that beats you up is the most, like, anime-looking, like, bozo. He looks like he's from, like, an 80s anime. Like, Fist of the North Star gang member. He tries to rob the player character, and then Yuma's like, no. And just think, Gino, for this chapter, they not only put in the effort to animate Yuma, they put in the effort to animate that guy. He belches poisonous gas.
He does.
Dodges the gas, and then spins around in the air, and then kicks him in the face.
Though, to be fair, they did 12, like, maybe 24 animations in this whole game. Most things don't animate. And they even reused some animations. So,
and then at the very end, when it seems like Yuma's about to get defeated by this gangster, a mysterious horse comes out of nowhere and saves your named character. And it's our rival to our horse prince.
Ryuta?
Ryuma.
Ryuma. He's got red hair instead of brown hair.
He's always got this grin.
He's got a snaggletooth.
Yep.
An evil snaggletooth.
Yep.
And he's evil. You can tell because he's a rival, and he's the other horse boy. And your horse boy does not like that horse boy. And then you want to go training for the next upcoming race, but it turns out Oji-san, he can't let you use the farm, so you need to go to his evil brother's house.
Which is in, like, Transylvania?
Yeah, where the evil horse is training, and their training regimen is throwing boulders at your horse, and so
then
he breaks the boulders with his head.
Not only does he catch the boulders, your horse not only catches the boulders, but he crushes them with his hooves into dust.
Yeah, with his bare hooves. And then you race the evil rival horse, and you defeat him.
No, you got to do you're skipping like 90% of the story of that chapter.
I'm sorry, what I skipped?
You find out that the previous owner has the stomach bug because he ate raw oysters for good luck, and now he can't do it.
Oh,
and
right,
then
the jockey can't ride.
The Oji-san can't do it because, and I quote, I wrote this down.
Yep.
I wrote this down. He has hemorrhoids. Yep. And he informs us that, quote, where is it? My butt's gonna explode if I get on a horse.
Yep. And so, Sex or Pootie Tang has to ride Yuma.
And she's just sitting there, like, cross-legged.
Yep, side saddle.
And Yuma, the horse, does all the work here.
He just kicks the rival horse in the face over and over and over again until you win the race. And then it turns out that the rival horse has never beaten Yuma in a race.
Mm-mm.
But Yuma, being so nice and gregarious, he tells him, one day you might get there. And then, in a hilarious misunderstanding, Yuma starts saying, I want to be with you, Sex or Pootie Tang. And Sex or Pootie Tang replies, yeah, I'll be your jockey. Oh, they love each other, but they can't tell each other, you know?
Platonic relationships are the expectations of relationships.
And so
Plato said that platonic relationships are the best relationships to depict in media.
Plato would say that about platonic relationships. And then your lady tries to knit him a sweater or
but she's got to shear some sheep, and she's all like, I thought you were doing like scamming the grandpas with the pool. And it's like, well, I got another side business.
Yep, he raises sheep.
Ojisan is probably one of the best capitalists we've seen in a video game. He does a lot.
He's no Tom Nook, but he's pretty good.
He does a lot to keep his ranch running. He might be in the run-in for Character of the Year.
Is he,
Ojisan?
Nope.
Yes, he is. Oh, you're right. Yuma's probably in the running for Best Character.
So you make him a scarf sweater. And
but
then
it's too big. It's too big, Gino.
I can imagine.
Put the scarf together.
And what happens in Chapter 12? I assume they go to Tijuana, and there's some sort of Tijuana pony show. No?
You didn't finish the game, Gino?
I couldn't because there were a lot of ads, and I couldn't.
I told you that when you're in the middle of a non-optional ad, you hit the home button on your phone, and then you click the application again, and then the ad is gone.
That 15 seconds of saving is not the problem. I needed more time because every half hour you're only allowed to talk to him twice.
We should also point out that you did not want to be seen playing this game.
I was not allowed to. I was on a vacation, and that meant that I couldn't just tap this frickin' phone all the time because I have family. And they, weirdly enough, didn't want to see me staring at my phone while this horse gyrated.
I don't know what's... My family would have been very supportive.
It's fair. What happens in Chapter 12? I assume they
actually go... They decide to just... It's starting to become winter, and so... They end up going to a mountainous area because the ranch is not prepared for the winter months. And so they go to this mountainous area, and then Yuma is going to train by skiing. And he's got some sick tricks. But he's really frustrated because he's just training, and he's training real hard, and he just can't stop training. And so your character says, well, why don't you chill out and relax? We should have fun. We should all ski together. It's like, no, I want to train. Don't get in my way.
Oh, no.
And so he keeps training, and she's all like, you need to chill out. And he's like, you wouldn't understand because you're not a part of the winning combination. I do all the work, and you just sit on my back.
Oh, no.
And she gets frustrated. And so she runs away. She doesn't cry. I will give her credit. She's all like, you know what? I am your owner, and if that's the way you're going to treat me, I'm leaving. And so she just leaves. She's just a strong, independent woman, and she leaves that horse in the snow while it is snowing. And she ends up getting herself lost in the middle of a blizzard, then finds herself in a cabin. And she's really cold, and this is actually, I'm not lying, Gina, when I say this. She realizes that it's really cold and she might die of, freezing as hypothermia.
Hypothermia.
And so she takes her phone and she throws it into the fireplace and lights it on fire. And then she realized, uh-oh, I forgot to call emergency help. I'm stuck in this cabin, luckily with a fire, but I burned my phone. And so Yuma has to rescue her. And this is where, the dialogue choices get kind of interesting, because in Chapter 13, you know how it's usually you're responding as the girl?
Yeah.
This time, you're his inner voice.
Ooh.
So he'll ask, I can't see because of the blizzard. And he's like, close your eyes and go forward. I feel tired. Sleep is for the weak. I wonder if she's still angry. She's still angry. If I give up now, you can't. And so you're his inner voice telling him to keep going.
Great. And so they meet and then they fall in love?
No, they actually just end up hugging each other. It's a really they realize that they have to call for help, but they have to stay there. And so they end up sleeping together so that they can share their body heat.
You know what? When you said they went to a mountainous environment, I was thinking in my head, I bet that they get snowed in somewhere, and it's their opportunity to profess their love for one another, because this is the most anime tropey nonsense.
There's not really a profession of love. It's more of like, I'm your owner, and I will always be your owner, and then I think that's in horse talk. You know, if you're a horse, if you say, I'm your owner, and I will always be your owner, you're basically saying, I love you.
Oh, okay. So it's like Nekopara. Like when you say you're their owner, it's
like
no,
not
like
you're
a sex slave thing.
You're my companion.
Oh, okay.
Catpanions.
So here's what I have to ask you. So obviously, this is a very tropey anime game. You get the beach sequence, you get J-pop, you get people snowed in, you get an evil rival.
Exploiting female figure, unlike Nekopara.
Yeah, in that there's one female character model, and it's they needed to make it work the whole time. They didn't want to redraw her, so had to make it work. You enjoy schlocky anime that has like one thing changed about it, but otherwise is just generic tropey anime, correct?
Correct.
So this is that, right?
Yeah, this is like someone trying to work within the confines of like, one of the reasons why I want you to play Blood and Bacon is these are people who wanted to make a game, and they had all of the tools to make that game, and they had no idea how to use those tools. And so what they end up making is hilarious. And so with My Horse Prince, I'm pretty sure this person is like writes comedy stuff.
Well, the translation is very clearly not 100% correct.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The grammar is wrong.
I got some of these really good lines from My Horse Prince. Whenever I noticed a translation error. Chapter 1. Do any hot guys come?
It's a great question. Do any hot guys come?
Chapter 2. This actually works. Actually, this is 3. This actually works really well. Thanks, foreign manufacturing.
Yeah, there are some good jokes.
They give you a late slip if there's a delay, so can't go wrong.
Yeah. So what is that anime that you watched that is just like a high school, but the characters are statues?
Yeah, I forget that one. I think that's Nekonori or something like that. Yeah, they're Roman statues that are characters at this anime school. I think it's only like 2 or 3 episodes.
Good. So I feel that this is just yet another in a long line of anime series that is just we're going to use the same tropes. These characters are all stock. We are not going to – the characters are exactly the same as every other character you would see in a different anime. Just copy-paste, copy-paste, copy-paste. But if we change one thing to make it slightly more absurd than usual, then we can be endearing. We can be fun. We can have quote-unquote charm. Like Hatoful Boyfriend is just a regular dating sim for the most part, with occasional subversion of the genre. But I am reminded of a critique that I believe Jeff Gersman has made in the past. If you're poking fun at a genre, you need to still make a good game. Saying that this is shitty and reproducing the shit does not mean that you've done a great critique. This is not even that, because it is earnest and low rent.
Yeah, it's earnest, and so therefore it earns a lot of trust from me.
But your heart is open to this.
And every weird situation our beleaguered protagonist gets into, it's oddly charming.
Yes, because he looks so ridiculous, and the animations are very over the top.
I mean, if the idea of a horse riding a surfboard is interesting to you, My Horse Prince has you covered. Because My Horse Prince also thinks that's funny.
It is very free.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for My Horse Prince.
How does this rank? Have you been doing the ranking of ZP Made Me Do It?
We have not been ranking the games
we should probably start doing this. So
this is not as bad as Jade Empire.
Okay, wait, because last time I think... Okay, so here's the big confusion. I have actually been maintaining this list, but...
FTL.
Me do it. My problem is that you keep changing your opinion on Riven. And so you actually ranked Jade Empire at one point above Riven.
Yeah.
And then you changed your opinion and you said, nah, I probably should give Riven more credit than Jade Empire. And so I'm super confused. So on the top, I think number one, we can all agree is FTL because that's actually probably one of the greatest games of that year.
Yep.
Then below that, I have Hotiful Boyfriend.
Yep.
So you're still okay with Hotiful as number two. Okay, Hotiful Boyfriend. And also, if like you want a more consistent Otome parody, you should play Hotiful Boyfriend.
Yep.
Like that's the one thing. Like I will say, Hotiful Boyfriend doesn't waste your time, and it's also a biting commentary on this genre and why it is played out. And then also, you have to do the Bad Boys ending. I swear to God, Gino, one of these days you need to see that ending. Because it's the whole point to why it's called Hotiful. Is like, what that Hotiful means, you don't understand unless you play the Bad Boys Love ending.
Okay, one day. So then, next
and then I think it's I forgot how you ranked. Wait, did you put Mist below Hotiful Boyfriend?
Isn't it Mist, then Riven, then I assume
No, because Pajama Sam. Where did you rank Pajama Sam?
Pajama Sam's better than Mist.
Now, that's some fucking bullshit. Mist rejuvenated a genre.
Fine. Mist is
No,
fine.
this is your list, technically.
Pajama Sam's dope.
Okay.
So it would probably go Pajama Sam 1, then Pajama Sam 3, then Pajama Sam 2.
Okay.
Then Mist, then Riven.
But wait, you're going way too fast. So Pajama Sam. I'm just going to say PS1.
PS3.
PS3.
PS2.
This is not how you should be ranking your PlayStations.
And then Mist.
Give me a minute. But I will argue till my dying breath that Mist is probably the more influential game.
Yeah, no shit. Mist is a more influential game than Pajama Sam. But my heart says Pajama Sam's better. Then Riven.
Riven's going to be below Mist.
But above My Horse Prince.
No. Riven. So, Jade Empire or My Horse Prince?
My Horse Prince is better than Jade Empire because it's not horribly racist.
Okay. Now, here's the big thing. Are you counting Nekopara? You probably should.
If I count Nekopara is the worst thing you've ever made me play.
God damn it, Gino. You said that. Okay, so we're also ranking Mobius Final Fantasy because I rope-a-doped you into playing that too.
Mobius Final Fantasy is better than Jade Empire and better than Nekopara. Nekopara is the worst thing you've ever made me play. And I'll repeat this again. That game has slavery and pedophilia and...
Jade Empire.
And...
Yes?
It has cat girls. And so it's got all of it. It's bad in all the ways.
Okay.
Oh, and incest. Sorry. Whoops. That too.
A game's so good that Gino refused to record a podcast about it.
You're welcome.
All right. I have to make sure. Have I made you play any other games?
No. I think that's the end of this podcast because I can't believe we've talked for an hour about My Horse Prince. My God.
Yeah, we did. This was supposed to be a short episode. Wait, we forgot to talk about the NBA. Fuck.
We'll talk about the NBA the next podcast you're on.
All right, so the rankings of ZP Made Me Do It. At top is FTL. Second is Hotiful Boyfriend. Pajama Sam 1. Pajama Sam 3. Pajama Sam 2. Mist. Riven. My Horse Prince. Mobius Final Fantasy. Jade Empire. And Nekopara. Gino, of these games, which one do you actually recommend people play? Where's the line?
All of them? Okay. What's the line? Riven on up.
Riven. So are you saying do not play Riven?
Or... I would say play Riven, play Mist, play all the Pajama Sams, then play them again.
Okay. So we're drawing the line below Riven? Like
so don't play
shit tier
Mobius.
games? The shit tier games currently are My Horse Prince, Mobius Final Fantasy, Jade Empire, and Neko Para.
Yeah, don't give anyone your money for those. Okay. So thank you, ZP, once again.
You have wonderful questions about My Horse Prince. I'm always here.
Yep. He will answer all of your questions about My Horse Prince. You can reach us at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We've got comment sections and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, ZP.
No problem.
Until next time, peace!